Ambassador, I'd like to start off by asking you, it seems today that Russia is widening its attacks across many other cities and towns that it's not been bombarding and besieging already. It seems to be the sign that US administration officials were warning of President Putin doubling down and of his tactics of hitting civilian areas. Do you think that's what's happening today?
It's a correct assessment. So today is a 16th day of heroic defense by Ukrainian people of our homes and our country. For 16 days, we see that Russian armed forces, or should I call them Russian criminal armed forces, are bombing civilians, killing civilians, targeting civilians, hospitals, kindergartens, schools. And since the original plan of this blitzkrieg and taking Ukraine quickly and taking over the whole country was not successful, we see that they have resorted to terror. They have resorted to, this shameful tactics of simply trying to destroy our cities. That,
and what do you
of course,
what do you think is the aim behind it? And do you have enough military support from the West in order to stop this new phase in the Russian attack?
Well, it's really hard to say what is the aim, because when Mr. Putin announced this so-called operation to liberate, or whatever was the plan, clearly we see that there is nobody in Ukraine who wants to be liberated. We all were liberated in 1991 when we regained our independence. And our armed forces, brave and very capable armed forces, already has shown that they are very successful in fighting against what everyone saw to be one of the top largest world armies, who clearly are unfit to fight with the armed forces, but only can kill innocent people and civilians. So whether we have enough, our armed forces are quoting Churchill a lot these days, the phrase from World War II, when he said, "Give us tools, please give us tools, and we will finish the job." And this is what our armed forces is asking. Give us all the tools so we can finish the job of defending the country. So we are very grateful for all the support that we are getting, but clearly we need more. We need more until we can win and until the last Russian soldier leaves our country in peace.
How concerned are you today about the claims and counterclaims and plots of the use of chemical and biological warfare? America seems to suggest that that's not a red line. How do you feel about that? Well,
we are very concerned about everything Russians are doing, or everything they are announcing, and fantasizing that they could be doing. So we have quite a number of the nuclear plants on our territory, and we know that 2 of them are already in control of the occupying forces. And now hearing these fakes from Russians that there could be something used by Ukrainians clearly sends a message that they might be contemplating some kind of, again, shameful operations. And, one of the famous Russian authors, Solzhenitsyn, long time ago said what we see now when he said, we know they are lying, they know they are lying, we know they know we are lying, and they still continue to lie. So this is what we see. They do these criminal acts, they do the war crimes on our territory, they plan war crimes, and they lie that it didn't happen.
Talks have been going on between Ukraine's foreign minister and the Russian foreign minister, but with little progress. Ambassador, do you see in the 3rd week of this war, this invasion, that there can be an end game, so to speak, to stop the fighting?
Well, I think it's a task for all civilized countries to stop this. And Ukraine did not do anything to start this. We were a peaceful country, always were a peaceful country, never attacked or provoked. And even though Russia attacked us in 2014 and we had all legal rights actually to get Crimea and Donetsk and Lugansk back, but for 8 years we worked on only diplomatic solutions. So it was Russia that started this war. It was Russia that attacked us brutally. It was Russia that crossed the border of a sovereign country and now kill the civilians of another country. And I think it's a pivotal moment for the world. Are we all together, all 145 nations that condemned in the UN Russia, are we ready to do what is necessary in order to stop them? Clearly,
The
Ukrainians
US
are doing everything to stop them.
The US has banned Russian oil imports and other energy imports, and other Western powers have taken stringent sanctions. Is there anything else you want the US and Europe to do in terms of sanctions?
Well, we would like all countries to follow what US is doing already in terms of sanctions, and actually there is a lot that we can do together more. So we are working with all friends and allies on increasing the sanctions, which would lead to total isolation of Russia. And until they stop this war, until they get out from Ukraine, the sanctions should increase and Russia should find itself in total isolation.
And what about your message to sort of European NATO allies who seem to be very wary about either you joining NATO or provoking an action that makes NATO at war with Russia? What's your message to them?
Well, let's make it wider. Let's not talk only about NATO or some nations. Let's talk about everyone who keeps neutrality today. Let's talk about everyone who did not join sanctions. Let's talk about everyone who is not helping Ukraine today with weapons, or even private corporations who still continue doing business in Ukraine, fueling this bloody war in Ukraine. I think it's, again, time for everyone to see whether we are only talking about democratic values or we can actually walk the walk, as my fellow Americans here are saying. So if Ukrainians dare to stop tanks without missiles, with their bare hands, I think others could dare to support us more, and even Russian citizens could dare actually to oppose what their leaders are doing. So again, we are very grateful for all the support we are getting. We will not stop, we will not surrender, we will continue to defend our country, but we need increased support and we need to protect also Ukraine from the sky. So everything that anyone can help us to not only protect our country, but protect democracy and protect peace in Europe and protect peace globally, because Putin will not stop in Ukraine if he's not stopped in Ukraine.
Ambassador, you're representing Ukraine in Washington, D.C., but you have family back in Ukraine on a personal level. I mean, as you switch on the TV every night and see the same horrendous images that we're seeing, what are your thoughts and how are your families, and can you speak to them? What do they tell you?
Well, it's not only family, it's many friends, it's people I know, but it's all Ukrainians. We all one family today. These days, when we are defending our country, from President Zelensky to parliament members, to businesses in Ukraine, to all Ukrainians, regardless of where we live, east, north, west, south, regardless of what languages do we speak, we are united by one goal only: to defend our freedom, to defend our homes, to win this war, and start rebuilding our country after it. But it's very painful. It's very painful because there are so many people in Mariupol, in Kharkiv, in Chernihiv, in Odessa. So many people I cannot call for the past couple of days because their phones are not answering. And I don't know whether they are still alive, they are without food and water as people in besieged Mariupol, or where they are. And I think it's unbelievable crimes against Ukrainians, but crimes against humanity in the center of Europe in the 21st century. And the world has to react.
Ambassador Markarova, thank you very much indeed for your time. Good luck and thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for all the support.